Game Boy goes heavy metal. Get rid of those Toy Boy games and get ready to bang heads with Battle Unit Zeoth. No rocket science here, just the rockinest, shockinest, alien shoot-'em-up showdown your Game Boy screen has ever seen. 5 levels of horizontal and vertical scrolling graphics that rival any big screen game. Unending hordes of the most trigger-happy, terrifyingly huge aliens imaginable. An unlimited continue feature that'll keep the battle raging for hours on end. So power up your Vulcan cannons, activate your hyper shield, and get ready to party. Battle Unit Zeoth is ready for you. Is the blurb of text that reads out in the 28th issue of GamePro magazine from November 1991. It's a lot of excitement for a game that really only lasts about 15 minutes total. I think this actually manages to be one of the shortest Game Boy games ever made, actually. Now, initially, this game did release December 21st of 1990 in its home country of Japan. However, within the following summer, that would be in 1991, it did manage to hit store shelves in both Europe and the United States of America. This one was created and published by a Jaleco Entertainment. Supposedly, they had initially wanted to release it outside of Japan under the title Jetpack. However, they backpedaled on that one. During the initial release, Battle Unit Zeoth managed to take home some pretty mid-score reviews. Generally, it seems the game was found to be basic, mediocre, and sometimes too challenging. But if you know us here at Empty Mecha, we like to get hands-on and play things for ourselves. Before we get further into this game, if you would like to keep up with me and my videos that are my experiences with all of these mech games, feel free to hit the sub button. Thanks. Storyline-wise, Battle Unit Zeoth isn't much for words, at least not in-game. We do get some pretty cool environmental setting cinematics that I honestly had not expected on a Game Boy game. We also get a cool startup sequence of the Battle Unit mecha itself. We get an end screen that lets us know you have eradicated the enemy, mission completed, the end. But not so much in the way of who we actually are, what we're exactly fighting against, where we are. For that, maybe we should check the instruction manual. You know, they used to put these in every single game. The introduction page lets us know that 42 years ago, Earth has been through a great unification due to alien invasion. These aliens are metallic beings known as grain, and were ultimately thought to be cast out of our solar system over just the past 10 years. Unfortunately for us, they have reappeared. Initially, the game will begin in the city of New Age, which is a coastal town on the fictional Bureaucracy. Deep underground, these metal aliens have been secretly building a base and a whole new invasion force. Mission-wise, it's pretty straightforward, since there's only 5 missions. You start in the city as it's attacked, and you slowly move deeper into the enemy base. The end of each mission has some sort of boss fight. Plot-wise, I imagine some of these are more so integral pieces of machinery for the invasion force, rather than specific characters. Anyways, there are a couple missions that side-scroll up and down instead of left to right to indicate you're going deeper into the base, or returning to the surface, which is pretty cool. I like it when there is storytelling through the act of playing itself. The final mission is a return to the surface, where you face off with the end of the aerial forces and defeat a big boss mech, presumably Mr. Grain himself. Then you get the credit scroll. Usually about this time I'd give a breakdown of my personal thoughts and feelings on the story, but here I feel that's a bit hard to do since, you know, There really isn't much of one at all, so let's move on. Gameplay-wise, you've got 4 stages, with the exception of the 2 interluding top-to-bottom or back-around ways. All stages take place in a left-to-right side-scrolling fashion. While you can walk across the ground, this one is really made for you to be jetpacking yourself into the air. While you're up there, you'll be dodging various incoming flying menaces. This is a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, or a shmup, as some prefer to call them. What maybe makes this one just a little different than your standard shmup is that gravity pulls you down when you're not actively propelling yourself upwards with the jetpack. Might be why they wanted to name it Jetpack in the English release. In that way, gameplay-wise, this is a little like a Mecha Flappy Bird. Levels-wise, you begin with a cityscape in the background. The boss of this one is a very overly engineered tank with a big laser. From there, you take a dive downwards. This level is actually incredibly short, but is sort of like a mini maze. The boss here is a flying contraption that sort of reminds me of a drum set. Like what would happen if Tommy Lee's upside-down drum kit developed a mind of its own and caused a rocket attack. Third stage goes back to the side-scroll thing, but this time you're moving through a mechanical tunnel before facing off with what I can only describe as the power core. This thing is a big round ball hooked up with wires into a greater machine. It shoots lasers at you. After this, we get the reverse, up to down level, and make our way back to the surface, fending off another flying machination similar to the one I described as a drum set. Except here it's got more discernible features. You can see what would be things like joints and an eye, or maybe I just have an overly active imagination. Last level, you fly through the sky as giant spaceships move past in the background. Final boss is the most standard-looking mech of the bunch, very humanoid, though he does have some big, long, pointy toes. Kinda reminds me of those Mexican pointy boots, which is cool. While playing through the levels, you do get an amount of hit points, which the instruction booklet has deemed is your hyper shield. Along with this, there is a numbered score keep across the bottom of the screen. The initial blasting weapon you get is the Vulcan Cannon, however by collecting pickups, you'll be able to power up the weapon ability to fire more shots, up to 3 times. Alternatively, there are other weapon pickups, a beam or a laser type, as well as hyper shield upgrades. On top of this, you can press the B button twice to drop a hyper bomb, which destroys everything visible on the screen all at once. As far as my personal experience, I didn't care for this one too much. I did find it difficult. A lot of old games like this are pretty unforgiving. I think part of what makes this one harder is that the entire game is built into such a tiny screen. You need to be very quick to avoid attacks, and it's very difficult to see what is coming next into your field of view. I did think the level layouts were interesting in terms of going underground and back up levels, though I do wish they were longer. It's sorta hard to knock on it super hard since this was built for the original Game Boy. I know these games tend to be relatively light, however I do recall there being others that did have a lot more flesh. The highlight of this game is genuinely the graphics. The minimal cutscenes are all a wonder to look at, with very cool pixel art detailing of the mechs. Each of the backgrounds are tightly wound with intricate designs. The bombed-out skyscrapers, the tech dungeon tunnel, and especially the near Battlefleet Gothic spaceships flying past the sky. While the standard cannon fodder enemies to shoot down and maybe the shooting sprites themselves are a bit dull to look at, each of the bosses are very cool to look at. If I had to pick a favorite, I think I might be stuck between the first launch or maybe the crushing defeat of the final boss. Those are both intensely cool cinematics. Of course, as per most Game Boy titles, playing through with a Game Boy Color instead of a original Game Boy is likely the best way to play and see the visuals, as you'll be presented with some actual colors. On the audio side of things, a lot of this doesn't stand out. I don't think I have the ear for chip tunes, as mostly it all blends together for me. I will note that I did actually really like how the epic sounding the title screen was, albeit it was a short 15-second one-off tune. It did really set the stage for an epic adventure regardless. Outside of that, I think the ending track was pretty cool too. It's got this slower, melodic, and bassy melody that sits underneath a drum that sounds like it's trying to move faster than it's allowed to. Like things are going to slowly speed up until it's going too fast and the whole song will fall flat on its face. But that doesn't seem to happen. This one did not hit me with any glitches of any sort. I think the biggest downside is that it's just way too short of a game. Second to it being difficult, probably. I will point out that there is a level select cheat, which not only lets you select a level at the title screen, but also gives you a seeming infinite amount of lives. So I guess if you really want to see the entire game without putting up with the challenge, there is that. On the title screen, you hold down on the D-pad while pressing the A and B buttons at the same time. You'll press this combo the amount of times to the corresponding level number, and if you've done it right, a jingle plays. In that regard, maybe it is a negative that the level count is a bit confusing. Is the first stage called Stage 1, or is the first stage called Stage 0? Honestly, I don't know if this one is really worth going back to for the average game player. I suppose if you're really into Game Boys, or maybe obscure shmup games, or mechs, like me, maybe you'll want to give it a go, since it'll probably take up less than an hour of your time before you feel full and completed on Battle Unit Zeoth. On the other hand, the best part of this game comes from a visual space rather than the actual gameplay enjoyment, so maybe it'd be more efficient to soak in some screenshots to get a feel of the slick art rather than spending the few minutes flailing around wildly in the jet-packed sky. It was short enough that I didn't really feel like I wasted my time, but on the other hand, it's just not very substantial overall.